Imagine, for a terrorist to function, he needs a huge hold. Hold in the sense of he needs a security, he needs funding, he needs somebody to propagate this ideology. He needs recruits, and he needs support, and he needs a safe place, which has been provided by.
It is in form of self-styled, uncivilized civil society for terrorist reasons.
You really nailed it, Nitin. As I always say that whatever I say in 10 paragraphs, you say it in one paragraph, in a one sentence.
Hello friends, very good morning to all of you. Today I am with very great person, Commodore Sunil Jelty sir. Commodore is a rank in Navy and it is equivalent to Brigadier rank and Air Commodore rank of Air Force. And as a personality, you will be surprised to note that he has got exposure of two superpower countries, that is USA and Russia. While being in service, he was representing India. And then coming back to the domestic terrain, that when 2611 was there, he was very instrumental while designing the strategic input and policies to secure the eastern coast, so that the strategic analytical things can be included in the policy as far as the government is concerned or as far as the defense things are concerned. Now other things to add to his experience, like he got retirement as the president of SSB board, and you will be surprised to note that today more than 20,000 interview he has conducted, and such a big experience is there with him. And after retirement he is very active in that academic domain while training the aspirants for civil services and also for the defense services exam who want to be in uniform services in Air Force, Navy and Army. And also while serving in Navy, I would like to add that he was awarded Nausena Medal for distinguished services, and he got MPhil in defense studies. It shows his academic interest. And today we are there to analyze the internal security questions that were there in this year main examination of UPSC. Sir, welcome to this video, and please
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you very much, Nitin. It's wonderful interacting with you. And gentlemen, I'm so grateful to Nitin for having been so, rather he makes me feel immodest by the kind of qualities that he's enunciated in me. But I would definitely like to bring home, my journey has been very good, but it has become better after meeting people like Nitin. When I retired, I was wondering what to do with so much of experience, but I think Nitin was one gentleman who came my way and he channelized my energies. He made it possible for me to focus and to really put in a whole lot of my experience to make it better for all the aspirants who are desiring to join IAS, join armed forces, and in the end, basically serve the motherland. What I liked about Nitin is, I could never find him steady not in the negative word, but he has been so flexible. He's always learning, doing new things, experimenting, and the kind of vigor and enthusiasm that he has. I'm really impressed. I felt that people in the forces are very energetic till the time I met him. He's already authored a book at this young age on polity. He has written a huge workbook also, which is a major boon for all the IAS aspirants. A gentleman who is from a civil world, taking so much of keen interest in running the country, running the administration, and working on all these aspects. Nitin, I feel it's a privilege actually to work with you and to come and talk to all the aspirants of IAS.
To begin with, sir, like coming particularly for today's topic in this video, this year, sir, internal security question. To be precise, there were 4 questions, and indirect linkages were there in international relation and all. And to begin with, there was a question from internal security scenario that who are OGWs and what happened in the disturbed areas of the nation. So, for that particular question, we would like to know your views about it, that what was going in the framer's mind, that who made that question. And then we will be coming to another question regarding the CyberDome project, and then about the OPA, UAPA, and then the Indo-Myanmar dimension that was asked in the fourth question. So to begin with, sir, I would like to know about again the thing that was there in the first question.
Nitin, you really make me feel like a student writing an exam over here, trying to figure out as to what is actually happening in the mind of the invigilator or the gentleman who is framing the question paper. I really feel that one of the major attributes that this gentleman who has framed the paper has demonstrated a far-reaching outlook. He discussed these 4 questions which essentially touched on technology when we talk of CyberDome. He talked of ideology when we talk of JEM or the Islami. And then we understand that he is talking of physical boundaries when he talks of Myanmar border. And at the same time, he starts looking at the legal aspects as to how to actually take care of security when he looks at UAPA, that is
very good,
UAPA. And when we really look at it, there are the question setter or the gentleman who set the paper, he has really had a rich experience. When we look at Jamaat-e Islami, he actually demonstrates that when Jamaat-e Islami came in 1945, in 1953 there was a fragmentation in this organization, and thereafter, because of the various aspects which we'll be discussing subsequently in our papers. Yes. But today what I want you to understand, and that over the ground workers have really acquired a new dimension. The organizations which were supposed to be once upon a time, supposed to be peaceful, to bring up harmony and to ensure prosperity of a region, by virtue of certain reasons, maybe as I call it ideological reasons, there's been a huge drift over there which has been seen. And this drift has caused a concept where we find that OGWs have come, and they facilitate the functioning of terrorists. Today you can well imagine, for a terrorist to function, he needs a huge hold in the sense of he needs a security, he needs funding, he needs somebody to propagate this ideology, he needs recruits, and he needs support, and he needs a safe place which has been provided by...
It is in form of self-styled, uncivilized civil society for terrorist reasons.
You really nailed it, Nitin. As I always say that whatever I say in 10 paragraphs, you say it in 1 paragraph, in a 1 sentence. And that is exactly what we really see. And that is what the invigilator or the examiner has tried to see, understanding of a student, whether he understood what was the genesis and what this genesis has led to today. The origination of this organization was for a very different purpose, but slowly it has acquired a very different culture of its. It acquired a different identity, and that is what it is required as a civil administrator, for us to be constantly aware, and when we see organizations evolving, as to monitor them, make sure that their character or the basic essence of that organization is not changed. Slowly and steadily, in the name of tolerance and many other aspects, as we all know it, democracy is a big tool till the time it is used.
While serving as an IPS or even as an IAS or as an administrator or in defense, the aspirants like UPSC is expecting them to be as an activist that go to the real-time situation, and how will you be curbing it down?
Exactly.
So that forward and backward linkages where this OWG has come, and we have rightly explained it, sir. Coming to the another dimension, that is the technological things input in the internal security, they have asked exclusive question, close-ended question about CyberDome Project. So why they have asked such a question? What can be going into the mind?
Cyber warfare is a different ball game. It has demolished the physical structures of what we call security yesterday. Till yesterday we felt that the borders would protect us. Today the borders have become pervasive by virtue of the cyber world. Today a gentleman sitting in some other country can impact virtually everything over here.
Yes.
And we suddenly find that the borders have lost their meaning, and that is why cyber world has become a major threat. And it is the Kerala government which took this initiative. I would rather give it to Kerala police for having taken this initiative of coming up with CyberDome. Today we find that huge amount of this web, and the web that we know of. Nitin, you will be surprised that we know only 4% of the web. Yahoo, Google is just 4%. There's a dark net, there's a deep web which is there, which is constantly exploited by various nefarious organizations for human trafficking, child pornography, for drug dealing, arms smuggling. And this is one of the major aspects that and to make it rather to coming out of the deep web, if we really take another look at it, Nathan, what I felt that examiner had in mind also, today fake news is making world of a difference. We are suddenly polarizing people. We suddenly see there's a huge impact of fake news, and despite the government taking action against various Google and many other organizations, I think we need to really have a thing like CyberDome.
Realizing importance of it, I'm surprised to say that today there is one exercise going on in South India for hackathon exercise.
Yes.
Last year it was in Singapore, and this year, and it is Modi's initiative that.
I quite agree with you. There's a great initiative taken by the Kerala government where the ethical hackers, the public, the private organizations, intellectual, academia, professionals have all ganged up together. They've synergized this organization, and this is, I think, was one of the major.
So aspirants, while preparing for the next year exam and what can be the question next year, so you can take the cues out of all this analysis that you, while preparing this internal security topic, you can broadly categorize that technological dimension, legal dimension, then internal and internal linkages with the militant group or the border management and all. So sir, coming to the another question, it is with regard to the Indo-Myanmar border issues and how can we manage the borders, the cross-border management and all.
Indo-Myanmar border actually is very, very difficult border in the sense that we have about 1643 kilometers with them,
very porous,
and very porous because of the kind of terrain that we have over there. And apart from it, we have FMR at free movement region over there, 16 kilometers either side of the border, because of the ethnicity of identity of the clans on either side.
You have seen this thing in your net?
No, I think it is working with you, it gives me a good idea. So what we understand is that is one of the major reasons, and we really need to understand, as you rightly talked of Modi, and it is from look east to act east policy. And there is a huge, we really need to look at that. We need to, on this 26th January, we had this ASEAN, all the leaders from the ASEAN coming up over here. This was actually to enunciate and tell home that the importance of this region to us and the gateway to Southeast Asia is through Myanmar. And that is why we have this Kaladan multimodal project that is there. And you would have, I'm sure, all the aspirants would have seen the newspaper and have heard of Operation Sunrise.
Yes,
Operation Sunrise, which was conducted in 2 phases, to basically to ensure that all the elements who are not in favor, I would not be talking of them now, but subsequently when we have this
video
discussion, we will be discussing of all the.
So because of Operation Sunrise, sir told that it was the hint from current that happened in the month of June, that exercise. So that question, it motivates the examiner to frame the question indirectly for it. But when you prepare for such thing, you have to prepare the SAARC countries and the border management and all. Now coming to the last but not the least question for internal security, that is with regard to the legal dimension of internal security, that is UAPA. Indirectly, they have not asked the broadline provision for it, but they have asked that how and why there will be protest and for which provision. So you can correctly tell about things, sir.
Actually, you look at it, UAPA came in 1967.
Yes, sir.
And it was amended in 04, 08, 12 and subsequently in 19. Apart from it, we have had huge experience with TADA from 1985 to 1995, POTA from 2002 to 2004.
NSA.
Essentially, it was actually telling all the while that our policies by and large have been reactive. We see in even 1984 Operation Blue Star, we see assassination of the Prime Minister, we have Tata coming into place. We see attack on Parliament, we see Pota coming into place. But I think this is the time has come that amendment to UAPA 2019, which has been done now, and when we really look at it, democracy is a big strength. But at the same time, we need to look at the fact that there are many activists who may or may not toe the line, because I feel that it is, in a way, it is very important that we really need to look at both the sides when we frame the rules. And when we look at UAPA 2019, which very clearly enunciates the need to designate individual as a terrorist. And it is important to understand, if we want Masood Azhar to be declared as a global terrorist in UNO, and we can't do it in India, perhaps there is something is amiss. And this is where I think that the questioner wants to pickle the grey cells of the aspirants to think methodically, to think how the country comes, how security, and how to balance the individual's freedom.
Yes, sir. Actually, administration is not a child's play.
Exactly.
And sir, there are grey areas. There is a silver lining, and this law is all about it.
Very
subjective domain is more so. Child is able to understand objective thing, and we people, as mature people, can understand.
I fully agree with you.
Yes.
And that is, I think, that is what the question maker is constantly trying to challenge the thought process of the individual, and he's trying to see whether his effective intelligence, reasoning ability, his ability to organize aspects in the right manner, and to tactfully, I would not use the rather tactfully, but to, in a very pragmatic fashion, can explain it in just 150 words or 250 words. It's a big call.
Yes.
Which talks of, and that is why I feel that he's really done a good job.
Yes. So guys, these 4 question analysis you will be finding from other sources also, but who has witnessed the things, the real scenario and all are writing the answer, but very few people are getting the requisite marks to be the cutoff and beyond that, to get in the merit list and for the interview call. So sir will be making videos for particular question, 10 minutes video or like that. So you will be having hint that how you can make the answer so that you will be getting good marks, and also the question that will be asked in the next year. So like that, internal security questions, but also the disaster management questions, and some of the input for the international relations. So keep watching this. And sir, last but not the least, again, some few words or X factor.
I really feel X factor is study, study, study. Say bye-bye to social media. Use social media only to educate yourself. Use the smartphone smartly, to tap technology to enable you, to empower you. And I think there is no other way out but to study. And when we study, please understand, we not only study for ourselves, we study for our country. All the aspirants that I look at or who are going to see this video, I want to tell you, gentlemen, you are the India's future. What India will be tomorrow is dependent upon you. And if you do it well, you will make us proud.
Yes, and people will like to see you again guiding them for internal security question and whatever things there in your experience base.
Definitely, it will be my privilege. Thank you. God bless you.